Like there's no spirit in them, right? I've seen some things that's like, this is very Jumanji. It's like, it's dead, you're gonna die. Just gotta be that sense. Something is happening, right? And that'll add that sharpness to your striking. You have to have it. Like, and I could be wrong on this, it's just a theory or hypothesis or whatever, speculation, that a lot of the normal stuff in the Bujinkan where you have these big kind of things is because you're wearing armor and you were slower and you had to get more of a push to get them off balance so they'd fall down and the guy next to them would run through with a spear. Right? Like your unarmed stuff would be your last resort because all your weapons either broke or you dropped them or whatever. You would never go into a battlefield without a weapon. You would start with weapons. And then, like, if you had to, you use unarmed skills. And that hasn't changed in, I guess, the entire human military history. Always went in with weapons first. And then you went in with superior weapons first. Because, like, real fights should never be even. Like, once you get the advantage, you keep it and you never let him get another shot. Like people compare how soon as they say to a pool shark. It's like, you take your one shot and as soon as you miss, he runs the table. You never get another chance. Like, so if you're already behind the 8 ball in an attack or a fight, and you get a chance to counter and you get them a little off, you stay on them until either you get a chance to escape or you run them into the ground. But they never get another chance to hit you, is the attitude you should have, or the strategy you should have. So, change the feeling when you realize like the other person can hit back, right? That makes things a lot different. So you have to, like, even if you're isolating the drill so that one person is the primary practitioner, the person being the uke, the bad guy, has to keep in mind what the reality is always. Like, you have to, okay, I'm the one attacking, but I have to realize they can hit me too. That's why you don't open this up and just punch. Because the other person can hit you too. You clear the space first, then you hit. Right? So, when you have that in mind, like I was saying before, like let's say we're here, we start to get close to that threshold distance where a decision has to be made, we have to start getting really into position, right? And so once you're here, that's why the footwork becomes kind of choppy. Because I don't want to be out of posture. I definitely don't want to do this thing when my feet come together. That'd be a great time to strike. Because then I have no brace and I'll probably fall. Right? So when you're out of contact, you can rest for a moment if you need to, or you can set up a strategy, set up a ruse. Like maybe you're like, oh dude, don't hurt me, and you're pulling your knife with the other hand. But when you're in this distance, going for this knife may not be the best thing because he can get on top of me way too fast. So I need to stay in posture when I don't have the distance to do something else. So I'm staying in posture because that makes me quick. So that I can figure out and be sharp. Right? But it's definitely not, it's boom, and it's done. Boom, and it's done. Boom, and it's done. Like people say, oh, don't leave your arm hanging out there. That's true. If you're doing the Bujinkan Class properly, you don't. You go, bam, and you set up the next one. Bam, and this sets up the next one. And you take the ground, you take their space. That's one thing that, like, that's why this is not like a comic sport, it's not a match. It's you run the guy through. You're always thinking, like, what's the objective of the situation? Right? Like, a match is to see who's a better fighter. It's an arbitrary objective. Like, you just made it up to see who's best. Okay, fine. But if it's like a real life situation, like you get attacked, or something along those terms, it's no longer about who's best. It's about whatever the mission is, whatever the goal is of the fight. If your goal is to, get the person off of you and run to the grocery store to get help, then that's the goal. If it's you've got to take this guy down because he's in your house and your kids are in another room, then that's the goal. Right? So you have to figure out what the goal of the situation is, and you fight towards that, not towards who's best. Because maybe the guy is better than you. But maybe you hit him well enough that it causes him to pause and gets you to escape to or gets you to whatever your goal is. Well, then that's a win. It's like A.C.T said, like, it's more important to not lose than it is to win. So, as you get gear and we start hitting each other more, you'll get a feeling of how to properly strike. That it can't be too, like, you don't want it to be too big or too slow. It has to be very sharp. Especially because we're not wearing armor. Like, none of us wear armor. Except when you're deployed. Even like day to day, you're not wearing armor. So the fight strategy has to change at that point. That it has to be faster, sharper movements. Because you can't afford to be slower. You don't have anything protecting you. Like if you're both in armor, you might be able to afford a little bit of less speed because of the weight, but also because of the protection. Whereas when you don't have any armor, you're both fast and there is no protection. And so you have to be fast. Like, timing is more important. You have to be able to time things properly. That's the most important. But at the same time, you can't afford to be slow. Like, don't let anybody fool you. You have to have the time, but you can't like move like this and expect to win. Or to even survive, for that matter. Like maybe it's a situation where they punch and they provide most of the power, and you pop them that way. But it's not like I'm going one more. It's not like I'm going. There's got to be an element of some kind of quickness, right? At least on a base level. Like if there's something beyond that, then I don't understand it yet. And maybe I've never seen A.C.T not really move slow. He'll move his body just enough. But when he puts his hands in there, it's still pop. There's still an element of quickness. It's not like he's moving slow. Not for real. Like people say you train slow, and you should. You start training a technique. You do it slow so that you can do it fast. Right? It's like you didn't start driving fast. You started out in the parking lot going slow, trying not to either stall it if you're one of the older guys and not trying to hit light poles. So that you steer properly. You remember the first time you touched the brakes and they went, you had to start slow to get used to it, and now you can do it anytime you want, fast. So training is the same.